Well, Denton, Texas, and beyond, it is time to get ready for the North Texas Fair and Rodeo. It's back to being a August tradition around these parts, and that means it's time to start acquainting you with some of the great acts that are going to be performing live over the course of 8 great nights in Denton, Texas. I'm Hank Dickinson. I've been a longtime supporter of the North Texas Fair and Rodeo, but now for my second year, I'm actually on the board of directors. And I talked to the president of the board of directors today, Carl Anderson, and told him I was going to have a chance to talk to one of his favorite artists and mine. The first guy out of the gate that we get to visit with is Jake Hooker. And one thing Carl said, Jake, was no matter what night Jake plays, there's always going to be a lot of Jake Hooker fans that make their way out. And boy, the nights I've been able to watch you on the stage at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo have been some of my favorites because you really understand Western swing, and it has been your life since an early start. Your dad had a Texas swing band, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you bet.
Well, in looking at your bio, like all dads, he inspired you. What about your dad's performance ability do you still recall, and do you still try to steal from?
Two things. His voice, for sure. His voice. My dad always, he could open his mouth and it just happened. I don't know how to say it. His voice was real big and it filled the room, and it drew me, a lot of other people as well. But he was always, and still is to this day, he's very approachable. And man, he loved to shake everybody's hand and say hello and just talk to people. Man, he loves people, and so I share that same trait, I guess.
And we've all struggled in the last 18 months because we haven't been able to shake those hands the way we'd like to. But you learned from Tommy Hooker and his band how to be a showman, and it looks like you learned early. Began playing the stand-up bass at age of 7. Is that correct?
No, I was playing the electric bass, and then I didn't get the stand-up bass until probably electric bass.
Kind of hard to play a stand-up bass when you're only 7 years old, right? You got to grow into that.
Yeah, you got to stand on something to play it, I would think.
Why the switch from electric bass to stand-up? What's the musician's difference in terms of the sound and the quality of a stand-up bass?
Sure, and that's just it. The sound, for sure, drives the Western swing, the traditional country music. You listen to the records from the 60s, from the late 50s through the 60s and through the most part of the 70s. That was the sound. The bass was it was very much the backbone. That upright bass was a big part of the sound. And so just trying to strive for that, because I'm a student of the music, so to speak. Love the music, and I love the history of the music. I love the history of the players, of all the musicians, and to see who played on what, and just those guys that were making that great sound that I fell in love with. And I think that's what drew me to it initially. I was able to find one and go. But, being right there, we're coming to North Texas, to Denton, which is the best jazz school, one of the best music schools that there are. And there's upright bass players there that, like, I can't even tune their bass. You know what I mean? These guys are fantastic. And I think they would give the same answer. It's a very much a sound of the.
So, in looking at your long career, your first band at age 14, what was the name of that band, and do you still keep up with any of the musicians that were in it?
You don't want to know what the name of that band was.
Well, now I really do.
Yeah, there was 3 of us. There was my best friends. We were in Pecos, Texas, and it was Jake, Aldo, and Mark, and we were called Jam.
Well, it's got some symmetry to it.
Hey, man, that's the best we could come up with, and we knew about 6 songs, and that was about it. And we played for our friends and birthday parties, and so that was us, Jam, all day long.
Well, you're going to be jamming in your own way on Monday, the 23rd, as you take the Miller Lite stage, and you've come a long way. By 18, it looks like this was solidly your craft, but you did attend South Plains College out in Levelland. In college, did you ever consider doing something different, or was it, hey, I'm a musician and this is what I'm going to be?
Well, as a musician, you're always thinking about doing something different because usually that music doesn't pay the bills real well when you're first starting out. So we did all kinds of things, but no, it's always been what I've wanted to do. Always, I can't remember a time when it wasn't. It's always been a part of me. It's always been what I've really wanted to do, and so, and I tell you, my stance on it, I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be a guy that stood for the music, for keeping the integrity of traditional country music, for real country music, so to be intact. To be the guy that's what I stand for. And so anyway, and that was early on. That hit me at an early age to I don't know if you call it a dream of mine. You know, everybody dreams to be a star or whatever, be on TV. Well, mine was to be the guy that maybe brought country music back or have a part in it. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't say Western Swing needs a defender, but certainly that is what you are, and you're more than that. You know, if fans go to your website, they're treated to what I think is a very inspirational, faith-based message. Talk a little bit about just how you've opened up about your faith and how your life has evolved as a musician, but also as a Christian.
Oh man, sure, thank you. Absolutely, yeah. My life doesn't look anything like it used to. You know, and it's real easy for in the music world in this bar life, kind of. That's how it started out, and I think it starts out for a lot of guys. You know, you get caught up in that life. You get caught up in the drinking, just the whole life, just what it was. And I'm no different. Hold on, I got dogs barking here. Hold on, walk with me, you guys. But I've got with that. Sorry, we've got my life got out of control. It got way bigger than I ever dreamed or ever thought that it could. It got way down, and man, I got to the point where when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize the guy looking back, and so that's kind of a pretty tough spot to be in. And so when you got a family and then you're choosing that life over your family, you got a problem. You got something wrong. And so that's where I was at. But the question is at that point, well, what now? What now? So when I finally reached the spot where I hit my knees and I cried out to the Lord and said, Lord, I don't know you. I don't know how to ask your forgiveness. I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know any of this stuff. But I'm telling you that I need you. And I'm telling you, man, from that point on, he's taken me every step of the way, and he's shown me everything. You know, and it's there for the taking. It's there. The Lord is there, and so it's been really cool. For my life has drastically changed, and not just mine, but my family's life. My family's life, and then the people that come to see us at the dances, and the people that we get to interact with all the time. They tell me all the time their life is as they've taken a look at their life because of what we're doing musically and incorporating the Lord into what we do. So, and I hope that that's the case, because I'm telling you, if somebody was where I was, or even flirting with where I was, I want them to have what I have now. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely, and you've always put on a powerful show that touches on such great music. I'm curious. We talked about your dad. My dad was a huge Ray Price fan, so I grew up with Ray Price. He's got to weigh in somewhere in your top 5 or top 10 of Western swing performers. Am I right?
Yeah, number one, I'd say. Yeah, they don't call him the chief for nothing. You know, he was the best, and he was my dad's favorite. He was my favorite, and most of the guys in this circle of traditional country music guys, Ray Price is the pinnacle. He's the top guy. And of course, there's Johnny Bush, Daryl McCall, Tillis, and Farron, and these guys. But Ray Price, he was the one, and even those guys looked to Ray Price as the number one. So his voice is pretty hard to fault. So yeah, we all try to strive to be like the Chief, but fall way short.
Well, Monday night, the 23rd, is a great chance to hear music like what you just talked about, and certainly with the Jay Cooker spin on it, it is always a great show. In closing out, what makes the North Texas Fair and Rodeo an event that you always put on your calendar, Jake?
Man, the people are so good to us, and being a part of that, and anything that I can do to be a part of a rodeo, a fair and a rodeo, is right up my alley. And so I love the people. I love that caliber of people, the Western people. That's our people. And so that for sure. But man, it's we've been blessed to be able to do it for so many years because of the committee. They're very good to us, and they like to keep that integrity, or I don't say integrity, but that tradition, intact for Ranch Rodeo Night, and bringing rodeo ranch music to it. So I think that's why we're there, and I hope we continue.
Well, it's an early week treat at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo when Jay Cooker and the Outsiders perform. That'll be Monday, August 23rd on the Miller Lite stage, and that's right after the rodeo. So we encourage everyone to come out. We're going to be safe and respect what's going on in the world, but we're going to be outside in Denton, Texas, and trying to do it the right way at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo. Jay Cooker, thanks for your time.
Hey, thank you guys so much, man. God bless you.
And that's just a look at one of the great artists that we have to look forward to upcoming at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo.